Hi, it's James Woodcock here to talk about my new book, Ego Flip. So here's a question. What's the most important question you have right now? We live in a world that is obsessed with finding answers, but we need to pay attention to the questions we're asking. Part of the challenge with understanding leadership and understanding who you are is that the tool you have for this inquiry is your mind. And the mind has a blind spot, and it's this, that it equates our understanding of reality with reality. And what I mean is when we seek to understand the world, we use concepts. Our mind is like one of those labeling guns that sticks labels in the form of our thoughts, our concepts onto everything it experiences. And that's the function of mind. So when we see a chair, it knows what it is. But the mind can't understand what a chair actually is. It understands the labels it has attached to it, like seat or back or four legs or comfy. But what the mind doesn't understand is that the label is not the same as the reality to which it's attached. To understand the reality of what it means to lead at a deeper level, it might follow that the questions we should be asking are ones that the mind might easily overlook. And perhaps the ones we're more likely to dismiss. So let me give you an example. Let's try a seemingly simple question, and the question is this. Where are you? You're a leader. Where are you? So of course the mind knows how to answer this. It shoots up its metaphorical arm as if to say, "Oh, I've got this one. I'm at home. I'm watching this fantastic video." But of course we can go deeper than that. So let me ask it another way. I could ask, where do you end and where does your experience begin? So close your eyes and somehow you know that you exist. Well, where is that? Where do you end? Where does your experience begin? What is this boundary that we perceive? Where are you? So perhaps we could look at our awareness and ask where our awareness comes from. So take the simple act of listening. As I'm talking, ask yourself, where do I hear that? So does hearing occur at the electrical signal in the cochlea, in the ear? Or is it when the signal reaches a temporal lobe, that part of the brain that's responsible for interpreting information in the form of sounds from the ears? Or perhaps it's when we become aware that we're listening. And if so, where does that awareness, that consciousness begin? I love philosopher Thomas Nagel's definition of consciousness. He says it's the feeling what it's like to be something. Can you point to where that feeling is? So where are you? Now most of us identify with our body to some degree, so perhaps we can find ourselves in the body. Is there a part of your body that's more you than others? If you lost a hand, for example, would you still be you? Many would point perhaps to the brain as the place where consciousness arises. So most of us, when pushed, might say that we reside somewhere behind the eyes, like the windows of the soul. So when the brain dies, do you cease to be? Or perhaps you're transmuted to a different time, a different place. Now the average cell in your body is 7 years old. So much of you is actually quite new. But not every cell gets replaced. And some remain with us throughout our lifetime. For example, the neurons in our cerebellum. So this is the part of the brain that controls balance and coordination. They stay with us, as do the cells that make up the lenses in our eyes, as well as, for example, cross-linked collagen that forms scar tissue. So perhaps it's in these cells that our self resides. So where are you? Perhaps the answer lies not just in the body, but in movement. Know it or not, right now you're moving at about 67,000 miles an hour relative to the sun in our orbit. So perhaps we need to move to find ourselves. But notice that right now you're here. Right now I'm certainly here. If I were to move, I would always find myself here. In your direct experience, you are only ever here. So where are you? Perhaps we could look to our senses. Try and find something that definitely isn't you, maybe the floor, maybe another person, and push against that. Can you feel yourself there when you push against it? It feels solid, doesn't it? So close your eyes, and without reference to thoughts, can you tell whether it's you that's pushing against experience, or is your experience pushing back? Could you ever tell the difference? And if not, where are you? When we push against the world, it seems pretty solid, but seems to be has never been a reliable or accurate test of reality, I would say. In fact, physics will tell you that as far as we can tell, only 5% of the mass of our universe is made out of classical matter, and the other 95% is not made out of matter or anything we understand at all. So if the world is not solid, if you're not solid, then where are you? So the point of these questions is to notice that we have blind spots, and these blind spots arise every time we make assumptions about the world that limit our curiosity and how we see the world and how we see ourselves within it. I wrote Eagerflip to invite leaders to be more open, more curious, and to ask more questions.